Okay, we're rolling. It's the 7th of June. And here's the guy. Yeah, pray for our brother, Aaron. He does make some... He says, don't get caught up with your emotions. He's talking about that. This is the end of his YouTube. I just finished watching this YouTube. He gets into the actual time. That's kind of interesting. Okay, back here, the actual timing. Rapture minute. Okay. Everything else. Here, we'll start it over again here. Here. People recognize this YouTube, yeah. Quite the character, you know. Younger guy. He's grown some whiskers. He's got some gray hair there too. He's getting a little older. But he's about half my age of my sons.
He's made his way all the way up the ladder. 50-day Omar countdown. So we're now...
He's still playing with his Lego. Okay. Anyway, Lord, help us to walk in your ways. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear. Yeah, I'm having some trouble with my eyes. I put some colloidal silver in them. I got a little sty on the one side. I'm only losing half my eyesight, especially in the afternoons from the bright lights. Pray for Rock Island. The fellow there, what's his name? He's even older than I am. He is losing some of his eyesight too. We've both decided not to have our surgery. Surgery is got lots of complications. Okay, we're not being told that. Seniors often are not making a good recovery from surgery. Kids do. Yeah, it's a last resort. Yeah, they keep you alive in some accident. But 2 years later, we buried the guy who was only in his 40s. Okay, so on and on this goes. They're the people that are on immune-suppressing drugs. Famous Seventh-day Adventist Loma Linda. You're into the organ transplants. Really? What do you think? These are the people on immune-suppressing drugs that should have been quarantined. So don't be so arrogant about your high medical, Mr. Seventh-day Adventist. I can, yeah. 7-day Saturday or Sabbath. The one guy knew what I meant. Anyway, we're back to this Omar countdown. No.
On the feast of weeks. Time will tell.
Oh, see, now this is over 3 minutes. I was going to make a 3-minute one. Okay. It's over 3 minutes already.
I have not turned back.
Oh, so just well keep on counting.
And so let's turn the camera around and talk a little bit about a few things. And we're going to try and consider the actual minute, because why not? Okay, so let's turn the camera around and talk. Just going to talk about these things real quick. All right.
Emotions, knowledge, wisdom.
We've been looking at this. Go, Jesus, go. We've been looking
Don't
at this
be caught up with your emotions. He talked about that. He talks about it.
And when we passed 2024, I'm like, guys, we're going to talk about emotions because we're going to be here another year. And nobody wanted to hear that. And so, but the thing is, we have to address our emotions. This date could pass. And please don't accept bad teachings because you want to get out of here in a couple of weeks. If this date passes.
Bad teaching. I'll tell you, I go through this, and I said, well, wife this morning, she already left to her Hebrew function. Yeah, she's got out of the Sunday boat into the Hebrew boat, gone into struggling with pre-trib from there. Yeah, how many Americans are still into pre-trib? I should say that Hebrew groups tend to go right into post-trib, from one extreme to the next. The one guy in Lethbridge saw him last Sunday. I believe that was a true Pentecost, so he's maybe even got the wrong date. Well, that's debatable. And at least the guy from Lethbridge is mid-trib. Okay, so, but where these fellows are stuck is, they got their pre-trib. I got my 2 feet there. You can see it. White sock and gray sock. You cannot try fitting 2 feet into one shoe. It does not fit. And what they're doing is they won't let go of their pre-trib. Well, what is this? Matthew 27. The graves are open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose and came out of the graves after his resurrection. This is the first fruits harvest. Read it. It happened. They don't want to deal with this. What would be this mindset? He only came once as a little babe in the manger, Perry Stone. Shame on you. There's my phone number. These people, they teach what is 4 more months. 4 more months is the Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd, 2025. Okay? Phone me, Aaron. I try to call you. I text you. I'm praying for you, brother. Okay? Don't fall off. Don't get caught up with your emotions. We need knowledge and wisdom, discernment. Matthew 27, 52 and 53. The one that has the better teaching on it about why Matthew is different, because it's very much to the Jewish people, and gave him to drink. Everything Jesus did was prophesied about. Matthew is different than the other Gospels in that it's more precise. He healed the blind, even the child born blind. That was a major sign to the Jews that he is their Messiah. And they still rejected him. Why? They were politically appointed. John the Baptist, by his lineage, should have been high priest. He was in the baptizing, and not just once. And Philip didn't have to ask the leadership back in Jerusalem if he should do it. He just did it. Okay? But no, they had to ask, and I had to dunk myself last Sunday. And this here is on the day first fruits. This is, do you read it? I underlined it today in this little bit smaller print here. First fruits. Revelation 14 for the 144,000. Is this Mr. JW? Okay? I deal with these people. No, I'm not a pastor. I go right into these places. And yeah, fulfill Revelation. You want to get your adrenaline pumping when you get thrown out the door? I'm not called to be a pastor. Okay? Stick to your knitting, Aaron. You're a musician. Your wife is maybe concerned about your income. Go back to your knitting. You're a musician. Knowledge and wisdom. Okay.
Please be very careful to read the Bible, read the scripture.
Yeah, read it.
And really sort through the material. And there a woman was lying at his feet. And of course,
It covers these things and things, but okay, gets into the Rapture minutes. I kind of watched this. I was kind of interested in this.
In Acts chapter 2.
But I believe that will be during the Feast of Trumpets this fall. Come on. The guy from Lethbridge was more evangelistic. He was doing construction. Him and his wife are both Jewish, and they still got kicked out of Israel for evangelizing. I only had the opportunity once to be there. Rabbi was totally startled. There's one cancellation, and I'm on the plane, and he makes the comment, "Oh no." The Filipino guy, 2-week tour, he won't even talk to me. What? He's got the issue. Yeah, because my wife is Filipino? What? Like, get over it. Okay, there's my wife. There's her only grandson. He's in San Diego, where the plane crashed, by the way. Yeah, the Lord shows me things. Why? How much time people... No. Very little is said about fasting. I'm not bragging about it. People accuse me of all kinds of stuff. Okay? Church hopping. Yeah, well, we used to do that from teenagers, didn't we? Hey, let's go check out the girls at the other Baptist church or wherever. But the guy wouldn't admit he went to Ottawa. The rabbi here goes to Ottawa, has an ecumenical function with Baptists, and talking about 2 million people believe out-of-body stuff. Is that what he believes now? I talked to the girl at the baptism. She claimed she died and had an out-of-body experience. I said, talk to her, and she listened, and we talked, and I said, well, do you actually believe these people that say they saw Santa Claus? Come on, get real. How come Lazarus was resurrected on the 4th day? See, there's nuggets to be found, but you have to sometimes go down these rabbit trails. But pastors are comfortable. I invite them to different places. They're busy. Busy doing what? Find out what do you know what they drive for, Mr. Watchman? Go down to the river. Maybe get a dunking. Go park in the parking lot of the golf course. You'll be surprised who's there. Too busy? Too busy doing what? Playing golf? We make jokes about it. You know, the Jewish rabbi and the Protestant pastor and the Catholic priest, which, by the way, is taking Protestant terms on now. I had the one guy online, it was a Catholic teaching, didn't have a collar. Why? They're going around like calling themselves pastors, and the building is called a church rather than a parish now. Yeah. What's going on? Well, they want us all in one boat. No odd law, but no, the Jews stay separate. See, this is when the war Spanish Inquisition happened. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. How much was in the history? How come the Swiss Guard was at the Vatican during the Pope's funeral? You can't believe half what's online, but I happen to believe that. Okay? Check things out with people. Talk to other people. You ride around in the transit now. I got my monthly senior pass. Wife went through that. Had our vehicle towed away yesterday. I talked to the guy. Yeah, I try to make friends, try to help people. We can put sand under his front tires for a tow truck. I try to help people. But what are these pastors doing? Having a good time in the golf course, maybe with the Catholic priest. Or the Jewish rabbi. Wait, what? They're all buddies? Let's just let's just fleece the flock. Ezekiel 34, fed upon the sheep and did not feed the sheep. Hey, what? Abraham paid a tithe to Melchizedek after he did what he was told, and paid back to the one that told him. I talked to a Nigerian guy lately about this. Oh, he was very interested in that topic. Yeah, because somebody had been teaching him that we no longer have the Levitical priesthood. Okay? No, this is not a high professional video. I don't have a crew standing by to edit everything out. I got other things to do in my life too. Okay? Got bills to pay. We don't even know where the money's going to come from. We have to move out of this apartment. Hey, maybe I'll end up doing more YouTubes. Maybe people will realize when this doesn't happen on this Pentecost. I think he's already missed it, because I think it was already the last from the annual Sabbath day. And he was a full 4 days and a full 3 days and a full 3 nights in the grave. Not part of a day from Friday to part of a night. Okay, on and on and on for Sun Resurrection Day. No, I don't believe that. I had to come out of that. The grave was already empty at the sunset on the weekly Sabbath. Read it. It was already 72 hours in the grave. A full 3 days and a full 3 nights. And the body's resurrected. Okay? There's other things to back this up. Just because it's not in the other Gospels doesn't mean, like, they try to discredit this or ignore it. Okay? We can go to 1 Thessalonians 4:14. Now, get this number. 14, verse 4. Well, reverse the numbers. 1 Thessalonians 4:14. Just circumstantial, is it? Well, we'll go in this one. Okay? I don't use this one. I have another one like this. I don't know where it is. I'm not a highly organized person. I'm not an accountant. My wife is. I'm totally disorganized. That's how people that invent people think they're so organized. No. I have helped people. Do I get much credit for anything? No. You know, the pastors teach about Gutenberg. He never got nothing for it. But if that did what God called him to do, he did what God called him to do. Invent the printing press. It got taken out from under him by the financial people. Later on taken to England, 1611. Interesting teaching by the one fellow, God is truth or something, Acts 16:11. Go forward. This is, you know, I spend time, and I spent time on this one to watch what he's putting out. But no, there's other one there. He used to be on the 3-minute one all the time. I kind of learned this now. So yeah, maybe I'll put, okay, what's he teaching now? Don't know this about the salt. He looks like my son, you know. My sons are, youngest one, the stepson, is in San Diego. He'd be coming 32 pretty soon. There's our youngest grandson. My oldest grandson is 18 years old. Yeah. You want to see my mugshot? Okay. Here, I'll give you my mugshot. So yeah. See a little sty in my eye here? I use colloidal silver. It helps with around the concrete dust. Okay. And a guy asked me afterwards. He says, "Don't tell the other guys." It's something like Nicodemus. Didn't want the other ones to know that. Yeah, toothless wonder here. Yeah, I've lost 2 sets of dentures. Don't have as much gray hair as other guy. Well, yeah, I shaved it a little bit today, huh? Wear my dark glasses because bright lights bother me a lot. No, I'm not having the surgery. Okay. I've been cut top to bottom. No, you don't need to see. The judge was totally shocked. Okay. Accused of not doing this or that. I said, Your Honor, I was in surgery. Like, what? False accusations of people. Okay? Yeah, they blame the operator of the equipment. Where was the tugboats that hit the bridge? I pray about that. And 2 other people give me confirmations. One was even a captain of a ship. He's out in BC now. He quit a $150,000 job over issues on like the tugboats. No. Okay. Go back to, you don't need my mugshot anymore. Okay. Go back to this. I can go around and around and around, and we should be able to. I was going to 1 Thessalonians, Ephesians 4, to the highest heaven. You want to read that? Timothy. All the T's are together maybe in this Bible. Some of them have a little bit different. This is kind of a Hebrew book. Gonna be a problem to find Thessalonians here. See, they mix up the orders. Yeah. I'll go in this one, 1 Thessalonians. John. 1 Thessalonians. T. Thessalonians. See, the other one didn't even have that in the same order. Makes it more confusion. Okay. Well, that's got the Hebrew stuff in it. Hey, got one over here. There it is. Oh, the one side is entirely in Hebrew. Canaanite. The new versions read trader or merchant. Hey, what are they trying to do here? Here, 1 Thessalonians. This is 5. The chapter 5 is over here. Okay, so this is actually chapter 4, 14. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again. Even so, them which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. But you have the Canaanite thinking that the body floats off to heaven right away. Sorry. That's why he resurrected Lazarus on the 4th day. So much for that idea. I talked to the girl that thought she had an out-of-body experience. I says, well, think about it. Okay, what does the Word of God say? Our emotions do not trump the Word of God. Okay? We have to be grounded in Him. Knowledge and wisdom. Discernment. No, the Spirit didn't come back and join up with some earthly body. We need to be resurrected. No, Lazarus did not die the second time. See how they throw it out? Because they're holding to Canaanite teaching. Just believe and you won't die. Well, as a guy, I said, well, Lazarus believed. He walked with Jesus and he died. But then he turned around and after he resurrected, he did have that part right. Some people think he didn't really die. It's just a recitation or something. Only in the grave 3 days in hot weather, they were concerned about his body stinking already. Okay? Deterioration. But he resurrected him on the 4th day. Why the 4th day? He deliberately waited another 2 days to even go. Why? Well, maybe he's trying to tell us something. A day is 1,000 years. We can go to that. We can go to all kinds of things to back things up. So just because Matthew is not in the other Gospels does not make it inaccurate. If we only had the Gospel of Matthew in some prison land like North Korea, wouldn't we tend to believe it? But they look for excuses why not to believe it. And those prison and other people will only be held accountable for what they could know. What do? We've got more knowledge and wisdom, and what do we listen to? Sorry, Aaron. I try to contact you. Just send you a email. My email is a total disaster. Okay? I hardly do email. So, yeah. If your emotions get you, call me. There's the number again. I challenge these other people. Rabbi Singer, Isaiah 29. What's it say? Ariel, verse 10. Sleeps a deep sleep. Well, I wondered what that was all about. What are we going here? Psalms 90. 97, 90. Okay. Okay, I don't have it underlined in this one. That's verse 10. Verse 10. 14. 10. What's it say? And we fly away. Is it talking about airplanes? I don't think so. Okay, people want to say the rapture, that's Latin for caught up, is not in the Old Testament. Well, this is Psalms 90. And every 1,000 years, read it. Every 1,000 years, like the Menorha. I put it over here today, not just on the calendar. Okay, my wife had the Hanukkah. Where'd she hide it? Over here. I says, I don't even want it in our room. As far as I'm concerned, it's occultic. Same as the Star of David. Get rid of it. They make jokes about people quibbling over the color of the carpet and stuff, but what do? Oh, they gotta have the Star of David. Well, if it's an offensive to somebody, what's the big deal? Get rid of it. The menorah is more. And the center candle is referred to as a servant candle. He uses this on this a little bit to trying to say we're what? Justify their Pentecost? Rapture? That already happened. Come on. Bring it up to speed.
Hour of the day.
I was in a 7-day Adventist study, and they go so much by their quarterly. Different times I got ushered out the door. Okay? No, Adam was told.
Jerusalem time, the sun rises at 5:33 a.m., which means the third hour is 8:33 a.m.
Okay. This is kind of interesting, the time frames, because that could have an effect even on the Feast of Trumpets this fall. Last year, different people, Rock Island books and stuff were saying, oh, it could be the Feast of Trumpets. I said, then I learned that, no, Israel is 77 years old. In 2025, May, last month, I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. I'm coming 70.
So it says here in Acts.
What did my grandmother teach me? No, 1844. Just admit you're human. Try to justify what they believed. This is what people start to do. Okay? So he's already saying that, oh, if it's not this year, it'll be next year during the feast, during Pentecost. No. It already happened. See? Is they refuse to take out. It warns about building on another man's foundation. Okay, where are we at? Zechariah chapter 5 is happening. But you read the old commentaries, you think some flying paper roll, featherweight, flying through the air. You read the whole thing and you wonder, what are they talking about? A talent of lead gives the dimensions and everything from Shinar, Iran. Do you want to go to it? Okay? It's happening. I don't know what this one's even going to read. And here we got Chronicles up here. And oh boy, this book. And there's Matthew. Okay. And maybe we should go to Matthew 24 here while we're here. Okay. That's kind of interesting when I go to see how accurate the Bible they're reading from is. Okay, let's see. What's it say? Okay, verse 12 we're looking for. Ah, there we go. Because of lawlessness. Okay. And notice, just grow cold and no wax cold. Okay. This is why I prefer the King James. Now we're just a few off of here. We'll move the computer over here a little bit. Okay. So we get this thing through this one. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, call any guy that'll help with used appliances. See, this is how I meet people. I get right into the apartments. The one guy's tomorrow will have his nice, and then he uses an American address. What's that all about? Well, he's more apt to have donations from a country 10 times as large, isn't he? If he's got an American address, well, gee, I think a lot of it's about the money. Okay, follow the money trail. It tells you lots. And many false prophets shall arise. Oh, but it's all in the future yet, right? Because we need the third temple yet, right? Well, covetousness is an abomination, the 10th commandment. That you do knowingly and willfully, that's iniquity. He set us free to walk in his ways. No, we're not sanctified. We need to study and then realize we need to change our hearts. But a leper doesn't change his own spot. We need the power of God. That was the Holy Spirit that came on Jesus. Not, he is our salvation. But no, they wouldn't baptize me again. I've had it happen 3 times, says NL, and every time, and this last time too, he showed me that Philip didn't have to get permission from the others at Jerusalem yet to baptize the eunuch. He just did it. And later, afterwards, he was transported to the coastal area. He probably just walked out to the wilderness. Why? They had a good camp meeting going, a good big function. Why wouldn't? Because the Lord led him. But no, they're too busy. I have to check with everybody else. See what everybody else's opinion is. This is psychology. This is how it works. It's a form of godliness denying the power. Read Dave Hunt's books. But no, they don't want to read it. Okay? Seduction and Christianity beyond seduction. And the Lord got me to Winnipeg where the car shouldn't have made it there. Got it fixed on the way. And I saw Dave Hunt before he's sleeping in the grave now. No. And the love of many shall wax cold. The old guy down in Lethbridge picking up bread for people or whatever, kind of a soup kitchen thing or whatever. He asked me the question when he saw me. He says, what's a dietary thing got to do with people's love waxing cold? My answer to him was, nothing. He said, good answer. And we sat and talked. They sent him across, his brother and another guy across to do the evangelistic work. They're not evangelistic. I wasn't going to sit just in their Hebrew function going on with all their reading in Hebrew and stuff. Yeah, that's what my wife's doing today. Her one friend does this. You ask them afterwards, after they grunted all the words out, what it actually said. They don't even know. Come on. Their English isn't in very good. They're functionally illiterate. Yeah. Oh, they know enough English to function. They thought there was 3,000 people missing in Calgary, Alberta. I said, there's problems here, yeah, but nothing like that. Okay? Oh, over the lifespan of the city, and 99% of them were found. I said to the Nigerian lady, they found the one lady, I said, not good. She says, why is that not good when they found her? I said, that's the Canadian way we talk, and she's dead. Not good. Where was she found? My wife works down at the Fish Creek area. The girl was practically behind where she worked. Totally shocking. Okay? Like what? They got kids and everything. She goes there and look after the kids, and the lady is like just right near them where they found her. Like what? It's kind of shocking. He's a builder. Now the guy in town here just doing siding told me, yeah, builder owes him money now. I think he's praying for a hailstorm so he doesn't have to keep working with the builders. What do you do? Guy already owes him money. Oh, I'm busy fixing roofs and siding from the hailstorm. Yeah, it's difficult, and people are getting behind. No, real estate people don't want to admit it. Toronto has got major problems. Real estate is crashing. There's more fires. Why? Try to collect the fire insurance. Okay, there's going to be court cases over this, but are the people even going to be in the country if they got some money? No, they're going to jump the country. This is what people do. The 4 Italian guys with concrete business, killed one guy, didn't have proper safety meetings or anything. Oh, you think WCB, government people are around? All of a sudden, they're gone. I think they went back to Italy. The other company, Burnco, has 12 plants in Colorado now. Canadian company. Learned how to take I met Scott Burns. He's so down to earth. I didn't even know he was a CEO or something like that. Show undercover boss. Yeah, and he took personal responsibility for stuff. Okay? Yeah. Check your smoke alarm. They slough it off. Photoelectric goes off 30 minutes rather, sooner than ionization from our very toxic lithium. They just slough it off. Okay? Norway made it mandatory 3 years ago already. Go check it. I get involved with politics and everything. No, I don't have to preach a gospel message to them every time. But they more or less know who I associate with, don't they? I know what's happening in town here. It's all edited out on local news. Okay? Calgary, Alberta, Canada. There's my phone number again. I put it right up there. Aaron. Okay, we're coming up to 36 minutes. What else should we get into? Okay? Go on and on and on. There's the political scene in Alberta here. Yeah. Hey, they hung the one guy from Montana in Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. The last one in Canada was not 1812 in Quebec. See, what are we being told? But most of these preachers, they kind of want to play this neutral game, even during the lockdown. They don't, it's all about the money. Keep the dollars rolling. They don't want to offend somebody. The pan-trib business. Oh, well, it's too controversial, so we don't want to even discuss it. The eschatology. Why? Well, read it. There's Canaanite, Zechariah 14. What's your Bible say? If it says trader and merchant, you want to really continue reading that version? Like, I put it right up front. Go to the guy's teaching. But he's pre-trib, I'll warn you. Rock Island. He's pre-trib American. Well, then they're trying to figure out, no. In Zechariah 14, they go to the other extreme. Well, here's the resurrection. He comes the Mount Olives. There you go. Mount Olives. Okay? We'll read it further down. What's it say? And all the saints, I put Whitehorse. Some people teach UCG, Herbert W. Armstrong. I don't know the other group from the East Coast. They're more charismatic, more Spanish, Jamaican people. A little congregation. Much from the same group, but Herbert W. Armstrong got to California, got on radio. Later on, his son got on TV. Where'd they get the financing from? Well, it costs money to get on these mass medias. Yeah, eventually you hopefully build up enough audience and get enough donations coming in. Where'd they get the money from? Okay, but then they teach what? That Enoch didn't even go to the third heaven? He just got transported? What? The Lord comes with them. The saints. The saints asleep. First lesson is 4:14. We read it. Why? Well, the ambassadors are already chosen to be at the Feast of Tabernacles. Filipino guy, live radio program I was on. He says, well, you don't expect every little Filipino to be at the Feast of Tabernacles. No. Not every year, for sure. But the ambassadors represent the nation. They will be required. Read it. And as far as I'm concerned, they talk about pray for your leaders. Okay, pray for your leaders. Well, I'm not in Ottawa. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. So why am I not known at the city gate? That's where they used to do the functions, right at the gate. Why am I not down there? He scolds me sometime. Well, I get disappointed. So what? Get over it. Then when the guy was walking out early, I just stood in there a few minutes, all through the security, walking out. I said to him, Mr. McLean, our counselor, I says, did you guys go to Ottawa? Yeah. He's probably wondering, how does this guy know that? Hey, I just happened to be talking to the guy from the council from Banff, a text message. He says he's in Ottawa. Well, chances are if the little town went to Ottawa, chances the city council, they weren't in the week before. Where were they? They went to Ottawa. Like, figure it out. Here's where we're at. Living waters. Ask yourself, how is the people in Gaza surviving? They tried to flood them out. The water was flowing out as fast as it running in. Because living waters, they have waters flowing from Jerusalem. Do you read it? From the mountains of Jerusalem. How do you spell Jerusalem, by the way, Mr. American? Jer is his, I believe. USA in the middle. Lem. That's how I remember how to draw. Okay? Lem. His land. USA in the middle. How come you're in the war in the Ukraine? Well, who do you think owns the 100,000-acre farms at Stalemate? They're on the New York Stock Exchange. Follow the money. Okay? It greases the wheel. It doesn't give our substance. We can't live off it. We need the air we breathe more. Not the money, not the food. And most of us adults have a little spare tire, we call it. Okay? Doesn't hurt us. Kids need regular calories. Their flesh will consume them. Okay? Okay, go back here. Zechariah 14. Half of them and the women are ravished. What happened? They lost their kids during the lockdown. And a lot of them miscarried, and they probably won't have children. The women are ravished. Okay? Now, it's a little different than the northern area. Go into Zechariah 14 there. This is 13. Okay? Read it. And it shall come to pass in the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So I was praying about that. Why is there a difference between this and this? One's in the north. Tel Aviv is party town. Haifa is the military area, like San Diego. Okay? That's where the stepson's at. Half of the city, this is in Jerusalem. So why is the difference? Well, he knew us in the womb. How many more abortions in the party town? It's going to affect their lifestyle. So we just call it a fetus, Greek for little one, and do away with it. But you want to be liberal with your liberal view of alcohol? Do you really believe a Nazarite made the water into fermented wine at the wedding when there was children there? We call it fetal alcohol syndrome. Oh, that's just before they left the mother's womb. Really? No, it's not. It's for the aged, for the ill. It's medicinal. They didn't have harm's distillation, Mr. Jewish. But you want to have the Brahman's name buried? I know who the Brahmins are. From Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Bootlegging to the U.S. Come on. You buy your way into his kingdom? Simeon tried to do that. So the sorcerer. I believe it happens to believe that's when Romanism began. Next thing you know, Peter was dead. But no, we're going to push it all into the future yet. Okay? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 6. Yeah, people say, well, maybe I covered this before. I hope you learned it. I don't see very many hits on my YouTubes. I'm trying to learn this. So I'm going to make a short little 3 minute. This one went over 3 minutes right away, so I try to put it over an hour. Okay? The branch. Zechariah chapter 6. The branch. Now, who is the branch? I don't know what your versions read. I've read, and it's like, well, yeah, maybe that's what it's talking. Who is the branch? And I wonder why the King James doesn't have this capitalized. He will grow up. Well, I believe it should be capitalized. It's talking about Jesus, Yeshua. Okay? And he shall build the temple. After he comes, not before. Why? Where do you think he's going to have the Feast of Tabernacles at? Ah, duh. And the time is cut short in Matthew? Or where is it? Why? Because some mortals need to be saved to repopulate the planet. Why would he have to cut the time short if we're already immortal after we're resurrected? He doesn't have to. The angels were told not to, and they rebelled. It doesn't say they cannot. Only the Father, Spirit Father, Immaculate Conception of Mary. He is the one that gives us life, not some immortal angel. Do you understand what he's talking about here? Okay? We need to obey him. Learn to obey him. But we're rebellious. Psalm 68. We can go to that. But here, we're in Zechariah chapter 5 right now. Shinner, talent of lead. Not a paper roll. What's old combat there? He's a flying roll. But he gives the dimensions. 20 cubits. I think that's from your elbow to your fingertip. We're not 100% even sure the length of that. How long the arm is. And breadth thereof. 10 cubits. I happen to believe that's talking about the circumference. And what was the size of the missiles on the museum piece? Yeah, the Lord showed it to me. Museum priests of a submarine had the first missiles on. That's why it's there. In New York Harbor. What were the size of the missiles? Right there. I was like, every last time I'm going down the stair and I'm looking at these missiles, getting the estimate pasted off even. Size of these missiles. Yeah. Right in front of me. Right. From Shinner, Iran. This is happening. Okay? But the guy doesn't want to read it. Pastor. Why? Because he didn't teach it to you in seminary? So arrogant? Accuse me of interrupting my wife? Legal wife. Yeah. Shinner, Iran. Right there. These are the missiles. Maybe not all of them, but being fired at Israel right now. The one time I was there, some people are going twice a year. What? Unbelievable. But they don't see this? They don't want to read it? They don't want to tell people? The Lord showed me when we were there. They fired one, I believe it was a warning shot, across the Persian water from Saudi Arabia. We can go to the maps. I got a globe up there. Some people went, the flat earth? Hey, it's not totally round. The shorter route from Europe to Canada. It's called Over the Top. That's why the Iceland volcano affected so much. If it's the same distance, it doesn't matter. Like you take a string. It's not totally round. And during the Second World War, they had to hop, skip, and dump. Uncle was in Labrador. How much snow? They had to skip, and jump because the planes didn't have enough fuel to cross. Okay? See how I go off on rabbit trails? Okay, but here's the interesting thing. Acts 16:11. Go straight forward from here to here. And then 16:11. And no, make restitution to Gutenberg. Preachers don't want to talk about that, do they? We've got nice rich people sitting in the pew giving them donations for tax deductions. Well, you don't have that in Nigeria and Philippines. Okay? Anyway, 1611. Gutenberg was in Germany, maybe back on the farm, and went straight over. Hey, it goes this way from England, Iceland, Greenland. Why not this way? Because it's actually shorter this way. Okay? And they didn't have the fuel to go straight across years ago. To Toronto here, it comes to where the solar eclipse crossed. Formed a capital A over all of North America. At the same time, that letter O, I believe it was the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Euphrates River was drying up. Saddam Hussein drained the big swamp area. Turkey's putting in dams. They're very low in water. And a little island showed up. Later on, it showed connected. And it's the letter O. Could be seen by the drone. You can maybe find that online yet. Okay. And 1811, the solar eclipse crossed the same location. Mississippi ran backwards. You think that didn't affect navigation? And they had the native wars here in 1812. It was against the British in Quebec. Okay? They had a situation in Montana. Yeah. Custer's Last Stand. What was that really all about? I think maybe the natives know that something was going on. It wasn't just, yeah, they found some gold when they're doing some digging. They found some gold, so yeah, they had the gold strike. Why were they digging? Because this Missouri River section, depending on the spring thaw, could flow into Canada. The American Engineering Corps, Army Corps, looks after the water. That's for navigation. They made sure it ran south. That's why the gold rush occurred in Montana, way over here. Okay? Lots of history, all buried. Is that why Custer's Last Stand happened? And then they blamed the British for supplying the guns. Well, they're getting them for trading furs in the Hudson Bay. There's no ice year-round in Hudson Bay. Hey, Canada let the railway deteriorate because they created the St. Lawrence Seaway. Now they have a big upgrade on the St. Lawrence because they can't come in with the big ships there. On and on and on. But Mr. Flat Earth, go to this. The volcano outside of Australia, over in this area, it affected the weather here. Coastal flooding. We didn't hear that Australia had record crop yields. They're more hot, dry. How come the price of grain dropped? We're being told this little country here, because of the war, Ukraine war, there's going to be a shortage of grain. No, wasn't a shortage of grain. But see, the equator's here. Lots of volcanoes in through here, near the equator. Depending on the wind, the ash clouds go either direction. It's not flat. This stayed more in the southern hemisphere. Okay? Big volcano. when the Mexican volcanoes go off, why do you think it's so dry up north? Okay? There's one down near Guatemala down here going off too. But the one is like 70 kilometers south of Mexico City. And the Mexican truck driver goes every 6 months. Canada's not home for him. He lives in the back of the truck. Every 6 months, he goes south. His flight was canceled. They had to call him from the airport. His flight was canceled. Are we told? No, we're not told. There's so much misinformation. Hey, anybody down in Wyoming? Call me. Area of Yellowstone, we used to stop in there and go snowmobiling. It was nice. Take an hour or two off, have some lunch, get the snowmobile, go playing around a little bit, get back in the truck and drive. Not now. Not now. Electronic logbook has got you, so now you're going through the bigger mountains through the interstate, through Butte, Montana, pulling heavy loads. Really, the Kenyans are going empty all the way to Arizona. Yeah. You want to talk environmental? Canadian trucks going all the way from Canada to Arizona empty. Why? The cheap freight rates doesn't even hardly cover the extra fuel costs. Yeah. MLA didn't even know about it. And 8 months to get paid from Interprovincial Trucking Company? Federal Labor Board's an absolute joke. What do you think the protests in Ottawa is about? Okay? See, the preachers know nothing about this, and they don't care to know. They're busy flying around from conference to conference. Guy gets back from Israel, goes to a conference down south on a Caribbean cruise boat. Isn't that nice? Then when I dared to ask what they discuss, I was basically told none of my concern. But later on, he has a teaching about you want to be blessed, you should give more. So what? Just crank it up some more. Go after the ones that are trying to raise a family. Mr. Filipino at the Adventist, you with your fancy toys on your truck. Okay? He knew right well what I meant with it. Are you a Sabbath or a Saturday, seventh-day keeper? He knew what I meant. Covetousness. Ice. Yeah, ice is melting. Yeah, when did it get the largest? When the volcanoes went off. 200 and some years ago. I was out there. I asked the questions. Hey, I got heck in high school for this, asking questions. I got kicked out of a digital marketing school. I wanted to learn. How do you learn? I ask questions. I got kicked out of the school. Now I have to pay a student loan even though I should have a senior exemption. My wife was the one that had me. What do? They take another course so they don't have to pay. Her one friend took a massage course. Isn't that nice? I tried to tell my wife what that was all about. She finally found out from another lady that's politically involved. Well, it's all behind closed doors. Okay. The lady doesn't like doing massages after her daycare. Now I don't think she's even living there anymore. Why? Maybe the landlord didn't like what she was doing too. Wanted my wife and stuff around because the guys got a little bit too friendly from the massage. Yeah. My wife thinks I should go by myself to the Philippines. Sitting alone on a beach. And a nice girl comes along giving me a back massage. This is not good. Now, how come Rabbi Zachariah's wife even allowed him to go to Thailand by himself? What? David shouldn't be overlooking. Yeah. But I never saw anybody sunbathing on top of the rooftops. I saw solar panels. I saw the little water tanks heated up from the solar. On and on and on. Maybe an odd piece of clothing hanging up there for drying in the wind, in the sun. I never saw one person sunbathing on top of a rooftop. Don't tell me Bathsheba was totally innocent. How come she didn't have any children? You want to go down that garden path? What was some of the injuries a lot of the soldiers had? Peter nipped the ear off. The guy probably even ducked, because in other words, his head was coming off. Come on, they're trained with a sword. You might lose an arm or a leg or other body parts. Come on, maybe you got circumcised a second time, a little bit too close. How come there was a marital issue? She had no children. And why did Solomon have so many wives? I didn't know that. They don't talk about it much. How many men were killed? It happened down in Bolivia. They estimate 70 or 80% of the men were killed. Big Catholic country. They even looked the other way. Why? The guy came from Europe. He had money. He had a big ranch and farm. How many wives did he have? Well, they can be on the street with nothing or be part of the concubine. Gustafson is his guy's name. Look it up. There's a family in Saskatchewan named Gustafson. Big farm. Seemed to always have money to buy farmland more and more and more when other people didn't have the money. Oh, my ex-father-in-law, not too happy about that. The one guy was older, he became the MP. Why? Where'd they come from? They're practically maybe royal family from Scandinavia. Where do you think the guy got the money from to get the farm and ranch in Bolivia? Come on. Guys from Guyana, next to Venezuela. I don't know if I pronounce it. Offshore oil. Venezuela is disputing this too. Okay? Whose oil is it offshore? But guess where the refinery's at? In Jamaica. Oh, they have to transport across crude oil and get it refined and then ship it around the world. And where was the Russian submarines at? Hey, just give a little donation, little money under the table to the ship captain, and we'll just escort the ship all the way to to Russia, to the Ukraine war. Hey, what do you think they're doing around? Just going out for a nice little cruise while the war is happening? No, they knew what they were doing. Need some more fuel? We'll get the whole tanker full. But where'd the guy get the money for? The houses in Calgary here. Now he's online. I could go there tomorrow. It's over an hour now. See, so I can go down rabbit trails one after another. One after another. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to try to make a short 3-minute one. Because I think that's... And sorry, Aaron. I pray for you, brother. But it ain't going to happen. You didn't want to listen. You don't want to talk. You just want donations. Well, go back to your knitting. I know you got bills to pay likely. Your wife would probably appreciate it. My wife doesn't want to sell her house in the Philippines. We got bills too. Her house. Do you get it? Yeah, I make jokes about my ex-wife. How many Canadians have gone through this? Okay? How you going to be squeaky clean? Credit rating. The natives, they already got criminal records. So what did they do? Hey, we're going to fly the medication across the lake. I don't want to risk going through the lake with my snowmobile. The ice road's not good. Go ahead, Mr. RCMP, Federal Police. I already got a criminal. My friends were already in jail, getting free room and board. I told the MLA. He was totally shocked. I says, it's a civil offense for not paying. I says, I still cross the American line. See, criminal is taking the money from somebody else to pay the bank. The bank doesn't care where you got the money. They sat at home waiting to be arrested. But their girlfriend now has the truck to drive around. And they seem to be content enough as long as they come and see them once a month. Have a good time with the wife in jail even. Or girlfriend, common law. Whatever. Guy's got a common law wife, cousin from Sudan. He says there's a war there, so he felt, and she got him to, and the wife, she's Filipino, southern Philippines. No, she's not happy. He thinks she's okay with it. Now, as long as he keeps sending money to her in the Philippines, is she coming back here to stay with the rest of the kids and the common law girlfriend now? No, I don't believe it. Okay? She's got her life there. That's in the past. Her two boys are growing up. What did the Canadian school teach them? Told this own Islamic father to F off and had a fist fight with him. Ooh, the mother's concerned he could get involved with radical Islam. Why? What did Canadian schools teach? No respect for elders and fathers. Mr. Pastor. No respect. He's half my age. I told him, yeah, you were still in diapers when I was in seminary learning stuff, and I had to walk away from this stuff. You think you're so smart? One guy asked me after the Pope died, and I saw the Swiss Guard of the Vatican. Revelation 13's already happened. Okay? Confirmed. Eyes to see. The Swiss Guard at the Vatican. How come? He asked me, and the Lord had prepared me. And I had this and opened it up, and he says, oh, that's interesting. He asked me, what's going to happen to the Pope? I says, it's not for us to judge. We discern the fruit thereof. So we should encourage others, but we will all be resurrected. Some of us will be after the 1,000 years. See, I'm back to this again. Because there's a catching up. Rapture is Latin. Get over it. Trinity is Latin. Get over it. One event catching up every 1,000 years. Okay? Where are we at? Jesus, Yeshua, is the center candle. The first resurrection already occurred 1st century AD. Aaron even made a comment. We're coming up to 2,000 years. Not yet. 1997 years, I believe. So what happens 3 years from now? Darkness of deception comes first. Then, yeah, Elijah comes. It's in Malachi. Go to Malachi. See, this is what the Hebrews believe. They have a little function at see, Elijah comes. They knock on the door. Go see who's at the door, kids. Yeah, they believe Elijah's going to come. Why? It's in Malachi. He's going to come. I believe that's one of the two witnesses. Moses already died. 3 places are recorded. He died. Just because we didn't make a movie about Enoch dividing the water didn't mean he didn't. See, most people don't realize that Joshua also divided the Jordan River during flood season. Not a little creek during flood season. Because they didn't make a movie about it, most people don't know about it. So I happen to believe it's Elijah and Enoch. Okay? Send you Elijah. When? After. Why? Well, surely everybody will know. You think the mainstream media is actually going to tell us the truth? And these preachers who want to teach only post-trib? Or people that don't believe in the things of God at all? Okay? No, they're not going to tell us the truth when an odd person is missing. Most of them will be from the dead. 1,997 years. I pray that I'm found worthy by his shed blood, by his power transforming me. You think I don't struggle over things when my wife ticks me off big time? In Canada, the F-bomb is a big no-no. The trucking language just goes right in the toilet. Somebody ticked me off the other day. And I just scratched my nose maybe with both fingers. One guy knew right away when I scratched my finger with the middle index finger. Do I have to show you? Here, it's only a minute, hour and 10. Here, this is a little Canadian thing. The noses are special. You know why? They're hand-picked. Well, it's kind of a thing. Try to do it in the private, you know. Kids do it. Well, see how my eye is a little red there? Okay. Okay, so if your nose is itchy, scratch with your finger like this. Or like this. Okay? From the outside. Okay? Well, when you're scratching like this, you know, basically what you're telling a person. The guy fully realized what I was saying. Okay, body language. Hey, body language is important. When Jesus said to Peter, upon this rock, who was the rock that came forth with living water in the desert? Did you know rocks can move in the desert? Yeah, it can. They found lately, it gets cold at night. You have a little bit of ice form. As it's melting, it's even more slippery. And the wind blows. The rock can actually move. Whether you want to say it's natural or divinely moving, your choice, okay? The living waters came forth. Who was that? When Jesus said to Peter, upon this rock, Peter is the pebble. What have we been taught? Peter was a rock? No, he was a pebble. Upon this rock. Body language. Or is he pointing to the scriptures? Upon this rock. Body language is important. Guy knew full well when I was scratching my nose what I was basically saying. Here's a little UK sense of humor. What did they name KFC in the UK, Mr. American? Flip the letters around, FCK. Okay. Hey. How things are said is very important. Hyperbole. I said to the Lutheran pastor, he had a message that says, do you really believe a finger dipped in water is really going to quench a fiery thirst? He's not saying it is that way. He's saying even if it was that way, that if somebody come back from the dead, they still wouldn't believe the truth. No, they don't. Yet the preacher's going to say 2,000 people or 2 million or something came worldwide. I don't care if it's 10 million. Santa Claus wasn't there. So blow it out your ear. Okay? We can be deceived. You're dying of thirst. You might truly believe you see water. It's not necessarily there. People know they're doing wrong, and then they have visions of being in some eternal fire, hellfire. Hey, unless you're the beast and the false prophet, don't worry about it. We got the beast, the computer system, AI now, and the image. But no, it's all in the future yet, really. Like, wake up. Okay? What are we going to say to the guy that being resurrected after 1,000 years? Sorry, we had you in the wrong place for 1,000 years? Because you didn't sit in some boat and say your hallelujah is the right way and bow your knee to the preacher's teaching? How many people walked out of that? Okay? But people will condemn them. To what? To their view of understanding of being in eternal hellfire? I spoke at a guy's funeral. I told him, It's not woven to that stumble. It's woven to the stumbling blocks. The other guys, they were living there for a while. He couldn't even admit saying, just say you're sorry. Why do they have to blame their kids on being 45 minutes late? His other son, already married. Sorry, he didn't become a virgin. He wanted his kids to be virgins yet. Why? He ran off every guy that even talked to his oldest daughter. Pray the younger daughter has more sense. Yeah. What? Their biological clock is ticking. Sorry. This is a major deal. Jacob was 77 years old when he married Leah. Why? I'm not sure how old he was, but Laban knew her biological clock was ticking. Married Rachel, was deceived by his own father-in-law. Married Rachel 7 years later. Maybe he got to marry him sooner and worked another 7 years. We're not 100% sure there. But he left with Joseph and both wives. One wife at a time. Don't put on a yoke of bondage. I saw the pastor kicked out because their denomination believed what? You cannot nail them to the floor like a Christmas tree. Yeah, and they don't want to admit the Christmas tree. Do you take a decoration? Jeremiah 11. Fasten it with hammer and floor to the floor. But they say it's a nice decoration. Sorry, we don't take the menorah. Fasten it to the floor with hammer and nail. Okay? No, you tend to put your decorations up on the walls, you know. Okay? Goes on and on and on.
And there's the other time. Last second on the 50th day of the Omar countdown.
I already watched through this. I was watching the Rock Islands. Here, we can go to this one here. That's 4 months ago. We'll find the one that was maybe just a day ago.
Compare that to the verses that describe the final second coming of Christ at the end of the age.
Here?
The end of Daniel's 70.
Did you just catch what he said there on this Rock Island? Second coming. Where does it say second coming? He stated coming again. See, they got this idea he only came once as a little babe in the manger. Perry Stone. The only time of the year the world recognizes Jesus as a little baby, but there's no sheep in the high country of Israel in December. Do they want to recognize him as king? No, they don't. Second coming. Only reference is more about he died once for all, not the Eucharist. What are they going back to? It says walk in the light, go forward. I used to use the word progressive. That's not so good. Okay, correct myself. Progressive Bible. No. It is written, and he is able to preserve his word. They got to change enough so they can copyright it, so they can make money. Yeah.
Week of years that concludes the 6,000 years God has appointed for mankind.
Okay, 6,000 years. So there's things to learn there. Messiah 2032 now, I think it's called. But realize it's a post-trib teaching. What happens between now and after the 2,000 years, when the 6,000 years is over? Do you get the drift? Or does this Canadian have to snow again? Yeah, I can crack joke one after another. Some people don't like my jokes. Hey, I don't think you can go across the American line either. The one tow truck operator thought, hey, like, I told a little joke about Jehovah's Witnesses, kind of a truck driver joke. But you know what the joke is? Maybe the truck drivers know this joke. Well, the old Freightliner trucks had a real problem closing the door. You had to slam it. I got heck on the guy's Peterborough. I said, sorry, I'm so used to the Freightliner. You got to slam the door shut. Okay? Okay. Now we're interested in making hybrid out at Edson Motors out at Golden, BC. Yeah, they rebuilt the guys at Peterbilt spent $20,000 on his engine. Then he totaled it off in Edmonton. I don't know if he got extra because he spent. And they probably pull the engine because it's all rebuilt. See, this is what they do. Put it in another. That's what they did with my old Freightliner. Okay, engine transmission is good. Pull it out. Put it in another one. Okay, da. Rebuild them. Not a car. It's not worth it. So it get towed. The tow truck driver thought, yeah. I says, I'll book you in at San Diego. Okay, that's where the stepson is. That's where the plane crashed. I learned he was rebuilding the power lines the next day. Okay. So you can learn things from other people. And my is like these pastors, they say they're too busy. Too busy doing what? I'm supposed to sit there and listen to you for 20 or 30 minutes, but you're too busy to sit down and actually discuss something. Too busy. Winkler, Manitoba, big Mennonite community, Mennonite church in every other corner. The other ones are moving in. They'll rent the room to them because they're a tax deduction, the Mormons or whoever, and the Islamic people driving the cab is so nice. Oh, so nice. Hey, they're trying to get people over to their functions. Okay, so nice. The Mennonites squeak. Menotite, covetousness. Only want to pay. Why do you think they have to come up from Mexico, the Mexican Mennonites, to work there? Why? Pay properly? No. Only paid me the hours in the tractor. The corn planter broke down. I helped the father take it apart. He had to go to North Dakota. I should have went home. Got paid for half a day. Unreal. But they only day because the Mexican Mennonites wanted their Ascension Day off. Ascension Day. Okay, well, I think they had the wrong day anyway. From which day were they counting? From Sunday. This is what this other guy is doing. This is what other people do. Second coming.
On which he will judge the world.
Judge the world. Okay. So they're not 100% wrong. But then they try to spin it around. This is what the Mormons do. Guy says, second Adam. He says, that sounds like Mormonism. I says, I can't help it. They got an odd thing right. I should go see the Mormon. He sees the miracle in his only son he has was born when his wife, Filipino, was staying at our house. I didn't want to cause more stress. I prayed for him. That was the only son he has. Alberta Health didn't even check into any medical problems until after the third miscarriage. There's increased rate of breast cancer. We're not being told. It's called ABC cancer. I learned about it when I was in Australia, a court case over it. Abortion, breast cancer. No. The entire dairy industry is based on taking calf away from and your milk supplements. Where do you think the veal meat comes from? Come on. See, most people don't know the agricultural side anymore. I do. Big Calgary Stampede, they wear their hats and cowboy boots. Do they actually know how to saddle the horse and ride the horse? Most of them don't. I do. That's my background. I'm not called to be a pastor either. Okay? The guy from Lethbridge kind of almost mocking me. Well, how come you're not a pastor by now, Al? Okay? My name. The police know my formal name. It's on my website, YouTube here. Alan Wolf. I should write it down. Okay? You want me to write it down? I had a marker pen. Hey, the police know my formal name. The guy pastor wouldn't tell me how he knew my formal name. The colony guy didn't know. I don't hide it. But please know me by my formal name. I saw the marker pen here. See how neat and tidy we are? I haven't even made the bed. Wife got up and left. Okay. I'll put my formal name here. Okay. Alan. 1L. A-N. Wolf. Yeah, it happens to be the YouTube site. No, I don't know. It was on there, and I don't know how to change it. And my wife, she helped me a little bit. And most of the time, she's too busy doing whatever. Gonna play guitar at the Hebrew group or whatever. The musicians are busy playing. Hey, Aaron. Previous one. Go back to your knitting. This guy here runs a bookstore, I think in Missouri. Maybe he knows Jim Staley. Jim Staley got pardoned. But now he's post-trib too. But association is critical. Who are you associating with? I try to associate with other believers, but most of them, the pastors, when they find out what I'm talking about, I get put out the door. Okay? Saw the one guy, he says, how come you come here and break bread and not in agreement with us? He chucked me out the door. I saw him lately. He's grown up some. His brother actually was a pastor, asked me back. No, and I don't believe you need to be involved with Romanism that much, especially in Western Canada. I don't know everything about Poland, okay? But no, this ecumenicalism is just pathetic. Forgive them? Hey, they have no intention of forgiving. They firebombed Dresden. Why? Where was Luther from? How many years later? They have no forgiveness. Loving your enemies doesn't mean you agree with them and sleep with them. Guy in San Diego is that way.
Raising him.
The guy online doesn't want people to know what's everything in the congregation. Okay? What's he trying to portray using an American address? This guy here is Rock Island Books. Goes by Rock Island Books, okay? Goes his name. I'll do a short YouTube on him. I'm coming up an hour and a half now. I should end it pretty soon here. But there's my name. Mountain Time. My phone number. I had too much other stuff I had to make. And got this whiteboard the other day. Had it in a restaurant. People were maybe asking a little bit. But no, my wife was in a big hurry to leave. On and on. Hey, there's her hollow bread. I thought she got two. Gonna take it. I guess we nibbled on this one. Yeah, she lit the candles on her 2-candle Friday night thing. I said, were you doing the rosary or something when you were a Catholic in the Philippines? And I says, well, now it's like you do your little written statement that they got. It doesn't say your husband should be known in the city gates. They kind of just left that out. Accidentally left that out. Why? The pastors are not even there. Too busy? Too busy doing what? Okay? Hey, we make time for what we want to do. Do we make time to study? Too busy. Too busy doing what? Colonies are bad at this. Too busy. Gotta go. Get a phone call. The one guy at the hospital, senior guy, says to maybe the granddaughter, says, they can wait. I'm talking to this man. Do we make these things a convenience? Gotta go. I says, the washroom's over there. Gotta go. Had the grain truck. I thought they were dried out. You got no other grain trucks? Gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Yeah, because something doesn't like to tickle his ears. Gotta go, gotta go. Hey, none of us like to be iron sharpens iron. Who likes to be ground a little bit? Challenged a little bit? No, we're comfortable. We're doing okay. Doing okay. What does that really mean? I'm doing okay, your neighbors are going down the toilet? We don't care. Australia, if it's brown, you flush it down. I've been over there, Mr. Adventist. What's in Australia? You packed off Ellen White to Australia, I believe it's over the Christmas and Easter issue. You don't want to deal with it. You're comfortable. The one location town, my friend is going there. He's in a hospice. I should go see him now. His wife was going there, even though they're married in the Hebrew group. So he ended up going back over there too. Oh, well, at least he was teaching the rapture yet. They debate the Trinity issue. It's terminology. Get over it. A truck is a lorry in England. And like, do we have to say everything the exact way Americans say it, or how some other thing would say it, or how? No. Like the German guy yesterday, he asked me, and his English isn't real good. I explained it to him. This generation shall not pass away. People say, ah, ha, 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 ha. Some people say, well, everything did happen in Cemtury AD. No, it did not. Don't go from one extreme to the next. Preterism. That's what people are accusing me of, preterism. I said, no, not everything did happen, but some things did happen. Prior to the 70, the resurrection of many, Matthew 27. Okay? But what? Not everything happened, so don't go to that extreme. See, we go from one extreme to the next. The rapture and second coming of Messiah. See how it's right on there. You show me in the scriptures. There's my number. Call me. Where does it say in the scriptures, second coming? He stated he's coming again. How many times did he come before? Psalm 68. How many angels were? How many chariots? 20,000, and the Lord was with them. When? As in Sinai. I don't think he's saying the chariots there. The chariots, just one chariot when Elijah was caught up. Remember the story? He said, pray to give the eyes to see. And how many chariots? The hills were filled with chariots. And the Lord was with them. And he took those captivity. That's a resurrection of many when he resurrected. No, the thief on the cross did not beat Jesus to heaven. He needed resurrected. It's how you phrase it. I'm telling you this day, comma, in the future you will be with me in paradise after you're resurrected. But they got Lazarus dying a second time. Really? Because they don't want to leave this Canaanite idea. Canaanite idea. And then they come across the second. No. 1:33. How long do you want me to go with this? Okay. Here's another volcano, Guatemala in chaos. I think this is the volcano. It's down near Guatemala in Mexico. This could be the one happening down there. Okay. Well, we don't care. It's not in our backyard. What do I care? It's not my problem. This is the whole attitude of people. I'm doing okay. It's not my problem. Guy the other day learned to, hey, it's not a problem. Okay? Pastor, it's not his problem. He's looking after his sheep. Really? Whose sheep is it? Read the two parables of the sheep. He's the gate. Okay, we get that. Now, does the shepherd go away to find lost sheep. Yeah, we have that story. Do you leave 99 sheep alone? No. You hire somebody to look after them. My dad had my uncle looking after the cattle when we went to Kansas, where my grandmother's sister was, during the holidays. I get sick when I get back in Canada anyway. I want to stay in Kansas riding my cousin's motorbike. Could have maybe even got a 14-year-old license then. I didn't want to come back to Canada. What do I want to come back to Canada? In the cold and get sick again? Yeah. Every winter practically. It was amazing I even graduated. The teachers knew what the deal was. Okay. These volcanoes are going off around the world, and we're not told. The solar eclipse happened in the U.S. Do you really know the history of that? Maybe you should. No, the big earthquake in California, San Francisco, made the big record because of big population. The Madrid Fault, the Mississippi water ran backwards. If we would have lived around in that time and age, we would have thought the world was coming to an end too. Okay? But Mr. Advantage, you make your excuses. Daniel, the time frame, I don't think it's talking about... You're trying to make excuses for 1844. The Mormons, JWs, they all started around the time. But, you know, I wonder, some of these shareholders, they amalgamated together. Where did some of these big corporations get started? John Deere? Caterpillar? Who were these people? Maybe God blessed them, even though they sold everything. I went to the mountain, and it didn't happen. Mr. Watchman River, down by the river. Well, go down the river and get baptized again. Hey, they're doing it in Oklahoma. Oh, AI trading hype. Here, we used to have to wait or go get some lunch or something. Guys, two African fellows, Afro-American. Greenlanders, some of them have kinky hair. Why? They have Afro-American grandfathers and fathers from the warriors. Omega, Kings. That's a nice song. But he's always giving the same route. Let's have a baptism down here. I'm not sure where this guy's at. I think he said he is in Carolinas or Connecticut. He is facing a little court challenge. The Lord provided him a legal right in the same little town. Isn't Lord amazing? But he's caught up with pre-trib. Doesn't understand why things aren't happening.
So we are sitting here in amazing times as we are about to watch Israel take back some of their land. And
Okay, Mr. American, how come Gaza even exists? You were part of the UN, forced Ariel Sharon to give that up. Isaiah 29. Okay? Go to it. Isaiah 29. Okay? I'm sorry about hopscotch around. This is who I am. I'm not... Pastors get all flustered because they got their notes going from point A to point B to get you to donate more, to maybe get in the water. And then they turn me down anyway. Isaiah 29. You know, and guess who leans more to the gifts? And when you settle down, but they want to say the fivefold ministry is done away with. No, they're just trying to say, we don't, the cop-out is everybody's called to evangelize. Really. It's a mentorship. Elijah mentored Elijah. Okay? You don't learn this in a seminary. They get all flustered if anybody questions them what they're teaching. Why? It takes them off their prescribed notes. They're accounting, administrative type person. That's like my wife. She thinks she knows so much. She says even an ant starts preparing for the winter. I said the ants are still hibernating in Canada. Maybe not in the Philippines. I says, give it a rest. It's only springtime. Okay? I wrote my numbers here one time. Isaiah 29. Ariel. Well, I didn't know for sure. I'm reading. Sleep's a deep sleep. It kind of, when I heard he died finally, I thought he had died years ago. Ariel Sharon was in a coma for 8 years. Here, you know what they did in Canada? Our wonderful medical system? Calgary, Alberta. They pulled the plug on the same guy, the same week, life support from a coma to harvest his kidneys. Great medical, huh? You really want to be in Canada for medical?
My name is Tom. You're watching the Watch and River channel, and I'm really glad you're
That didn't go on the news, did it? You think of somebody in a coma. Some people recover after months. Another friend of mine cracked his skull. He should have had his motorcycle helmet on. Slipped off the roof, putting up a solar panel. And I think he was in a month in the coma. He finally died. They didn't pull the plug. Okay? Maybe his parents had enough influence. Maybe it wasn't quite, that was several years ago. But they did know. I'd like to know where those kidneys went to. Somebody had that much influence to have the guy, 40 years old. He was healthy and everything. Pulled the plug. What?
Well, thanks for joining me. I want to remind you before I begin.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. We got your face if we ever see you. Hey, go, like, put some content up. There's 4 more months. Okay. I had this right in a restaurant. People were asking, but my wife wouldn't wait. 1:42. Okay, we're going to end this now. I don't want to go on and on. People get frustrated maybe with the length of YouTube's. Okay. Okay, we're going to end this. Ireland. Hey. See how I go down rabbit trails? My one grandmother is from Ireland. What's my last name? Wolf. Guess you can spell it in different ways. Double F or double O is more Hebrew. Put an E on the end. I cut cousins in business during the Second World War. It's considered more English. Just change the name a little bit. But Wolf was one of the names I found out on the manufacturer of the Titanic. You think my grandmother maybe didn't know a little bit of the history of the Titanic that she taught me? Oh, yeah. I think it's somewhat maybe connected. Okay. Yeah, my grandfather was killed. Where did they meet each other? She was from Ireland. I thought he was from Germany. I don't know where he was from. Maybe a German in Ireland. Okay? Huguenots from France are in Ireland. Why? They had to flee. They're from France. Why? Napoleon took 2 of the popes captive. Revelation 13. What do you think the Swiss Guard is at the Vatican? So much history around us. People move around for different reasons. Is that why my Irish grandmother was with my grandfather, a German, from... Where did they meet? I don't know where they met. My uncle outlived my dad, clued in some of the family history. How did my mom meet my father? Well, he went to Ontario to save the freight rate on a new car, have a little holiday. My mother, coming from the farm in the Ukraine. Hello, Mr. Wolf. Speaking probably broken German. My dad knew a little bit of German. A nice car you have. Next thing you know, my grandmother and another sister, the one sister met her husband there. He's a shoe cobbler. He made her shoes for her. Yeah. She was a big German lady, could carry the little guy off under his arm. My mom was the smaller of the sisters. The other one met her in Winnipeg. Came all the way out with my grandmother and my dad in his new car to the farm in Saskatchewan. You think that wasn't the talk of the town? My dad was old enough to be my grandfather. And outlived my mother. Chilliwack, BC, people were talking. The guy's wife died. He had a little Filipino wife half his age. Oh, he's old enough to be the grandfather of the kid. I finally told them off. They're both adults. None of our concern. How old was Jacob when he married Leah? You think Laban didn't know what was going down? She's the older, maybe going beyond her age, but she was very fertile yet. Had how many sons? He did a little trickery. Then later on allowed Laban to marry the younger. How much age difference? We're not sure. But he wanted that older daughter married off because her biological clock was ticking. There was different reasons he married Rachel off, Leah off first. A little bit of trickery on his part. I think there's a little bit between the lines there now. We're not quite reading. Yeah. I tend to go down these garden paths. Okay. Ravi Singer, are you going to deny this happened? Then you're denying the state of Israel. Psalms 90, fly away. You're going to deny the rapture? You're going to deny missiles going off in Zechariah chapter 5 too? You're going to deny Zechariah 14? There's no resurrection from the knowledge. Deny, deny, deny. No, you only want who you're comfortable in debating with. There's my number. Am I hiding? No. The police in Calgary know who I am. But I have to get their badge number. When they find out I have some connections, two different ways, to different people in town here, and to the Alberta sheriffs. Most of them get nervous and roll up the window and drive away. Why? They're under a provincial police review. So is our federal police force. And they found magnifying glasses, I believe, at some of the fires up north. Hey, remember teenagers playing, cooking ants? Yeah, you set it up. Nobody around. Sun comes out. Oh, we got another fire. Well, the wild mushrooms go a year or two after the fires. I don't know, follow the money trail. It's called create employment. Hey, it's a little risky. You set it the right time to get rid of the deadwood opposite your community. They did this in BC. The provincial government sent people from Victoria, BC. That's nice. Out to the woods. Because they're going to do it anyway. Lytton, BC town there, but 10 years before there was a court case. One rail company had to pay out big time for starting the fire. But no, they didn't start the fire this time. Or is it another cover-up by the RCMP? Cover-up after cover-up after cover-up. There's so much politics involved with this stuff. Federal police force. Hey, it's good to have an overlap like the Americans. But no, Canada does not have an elected Senate even. And they hung the one guy from French Métis down in Montana, hung him in Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. Let's get the history correct. Okay? And yeah, the big farms in Ukraine is on the New York Stock Exchange. Oh, here's Jonathan Kahn. Con. Kind of playing the name there. Oh, he's in New Jersey. I wanted to go down. I was in New York. I didn't get a chance to go over to see him. Okay, but he had the Christmas tree in the background one time. Like, oh, here's the red heifer business. Okay. You think that wasn't an issue? And they had a holiday and they put the food outside the fence at Gaza while kids are starving. Hey, my wife was blocked off Facebook one time, like right now. Homemade firecrackers exploding in their faces. Hey, blocked on Facebook right now. They didn't want that, did they? We can go through on and on. How much is real? How much is clickbait? We got Mr. Mark in now. Mark got marked in. Get my federal pension check. Okay. He's advertising these things. I showed my wife. I think it's AI generated. I don't believe he's promoting these AI investment things. Okay? Why would he do that? Yeah. I don't know. What is real? What isn't? So the great deception is all around us. Okay? Here's one. Here's this one here. 21 hours ago.
Growing up in the church, there are many prophetic.
Seventh-day Church of Revelation. Okay, yeah, there's different splinter groups. This one is trying to discredit. They're busy discrediting the mainline denomination. Well, get over it. Are you concerned about others?
Exactly 4,900 years or 100 jubilees.
Who's going into the land? Who's going to Messiah's kingdom? You must be surprised. This is the one else here.
Summer of 2025. We are on the cusp of Israel entering into the period called the time of Jacob's trouble.
Okay, that's why it's going on at the end here. We're going to start it over here.
I created the 7,000-year Messianic kingdom. And do you know why? The answer to these three questions may surprise you. Did you know?
There.
Hello.
Hey, you know who this guy is. He's got a big... Sorry. I'm going to try to piggyback on some of your... He's got... How many views already? Only 21. And he's got how many... Okay, sorry. A lot are going to fall off when it doesn't happen on this coming Pentecost. Are you concerned about just your followers? Call it clickbait. Call it what you want. I'm piggybacking on some of these guys. I'll make a short startup YouTube with this. Coming up to 2 hours. Have a good day. Again, there's Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd. Hey, I knew the solar eclipse April 8th, 2024 came before. What were these people teaching? Okay? What were these people teaching then?